Some doctrines find their way into dispute or disagreement in the Christian tradition because simply of the amount of verses or the passages that we have to deal with. Some topics, of course, are dozens or hundreds of passages that you have to wade through, and it brings no surprise to the person who's studying a topic like that to see why we disagree. But I think we'll find, I'm sure you'll be surprised, in fact, how the Lord's Supper, the doctrine of the Lord's Supper, or it variously is called communion or Mass or the Eucharist, how the subject of the Lord's Supper is really narrowed down to very few verses, and we have very little evidence to go on. What the common way of handling this looks like is usually to go to the views and see what different traditions have come to believe about the Lord's Supper. And then the idea is, well, which is best? Which view fits back into the text as we have it? But I've found that in studying that method of starting with views and asking people to defend their views and to respond to each other, very little textual work is being done. Usually it's back to the issue of traditions or writers or church fathers or confessions, doctrinal statements, and we end up comparing doctrinal statements without really looking at the text. And I understand why that's done for sake of time sometimes, but my goal here, yes, we're going to separate out some views and talk about them, but because the texts that are dealing in the Bible with the Lord's Supper are really rather few, we'll be able to look at every text, look at everything that the Bible says about the Lord's Supper, and then make our call, or at least see why the views have developed the way they are. So I invite you along in this study of the Lord's Supper.